All right, this is the market in the last 48 hours, of course. Taking a look at the Dow, big comeback today after a big beating yesterday. The same for the NASDAQ. So what do you buy, the free fall yesterday or so far the comeback today? Peter Eliades, the Stock Market Cycle editor and publisher. We're certainly not buying a bull market, at least for the longer term. Peter, what do you think?
Oh, Neil, I'm so happy I could talk with you to attempt to revitalize what must have been a painfully quiet and boring past few weeks of news for you.
You're right, my friend. But you've been looking this apart from all these, fundamental developments, because you read the technicals. And what do the technicals tell you? Well,
right now the technicals are getting more and more bearish. One of the things that when you know that I'm very much maybe 99 and 44, 100% ivory technician and not fundamentalist. But the one fundamental thing I like to look at, Neil, at extremes is valuation. Valuation is completely useless, usually. It can give you an idea when you get to real extremes on the low side or on the high side. My favorite valuation metric is by John Hussman of Hussman Econometrics. And on July 22nd, Neil, Hussman said that on Tuesday, July 16th, his valuation metrics reached the greatest extreme overvalued in history of 100 years, going back to before 1929. So that was impressive. And he mentioned July 16th. And of course, we've started to come down from there. Now, does that guarantee a top? Of course not. But the point is, Neil, where is the next 15, 20, 30, 40, 50% going to be? My evaluation of the upside potential from current levels is we have a 0 to 5% chance of going up 10 to 20% from here. And we have a 50 to 70% chance of going down more than 50%.
So when you look at that, Peter, you talk about overvaluation. In other words, the price of stocks simply don't match or in sync with their earnings that really support them. And that can't be sustained for varying. But the issue is, a lot of folks I talked to are bullish said, well, the earnings will catch up with the price, like in NVIDIA's case, where it would have like this, sky high multiple. Earnings would come out to bring it back down more to earth, so that the earnings catch up. That's the hope. You don't buy that, right?
Neil, do me a favor sometime. Bring someone on that's a mathematician. Have them figure out the capitalization of NVIDIA, Microsoft, and Apple, perhaps. If you sold NVIDIA, Microsoft, and Apple, you could buy the complete economies of Great Britain, Germany, and Italy. I mean, everything in that country that's listed on their stock exchange, you could buy their complete economies with 3 stocks. I'm sorry, that is ridiculous. That overvaluation, especially in terms of technology, is just incredible. Look, NVIDIA is a fabulous company. AI is going to provide a lot of help for a lot of companies. But when you think you can sell one stock and buy the complete economy of a large European country, you're smoking a lot of stuff, Neil.
But you had to dump my Italy into those other countries, didn't you? But let me ask you a little bit. You could throw Switzerland in there and even it up. But let me get your take then on what you see happening after we have this small percentage possibility of up to another 20% run up. And then what happens? Spell it out.
Well, if we go that far, and I'm very, very dubious we do that, the only thing that saves this time zone that we're in, perhaps, is the election. So a lot of people may say, well, let's wait to see what happens going into the election.
Right.
That might hold the market up. I can't be confident about that. But everything that I look at, Neil, is telling me that this market is an accident, and a really big accident waiting to happen.
So what do you buy, Peter? In this environment, how do you safely play it?
If you want to be real conservative, of course, you buy T-pills. They're finally giving you some kind of return. Think of the time between 2000, Neil, and just 3 or 4 years ago, or a year or two ago, when you were lucky if you got 1% with T-bills.
You're right.
You're getting
You're
over
right.
5. You're getting over 5% with them now. And is the market going to compete with that? Well, the people that bought NVIDIA a year or so ago are going to say, who's interested in 5%, man? I'm looking for 100% a year. And they got it, and they're so happy that they think it's going to continue ad infinitum. It's not going to happen. It never has before, and it won't this time around. That one stock can buy the economy of a complete large European country, Neil. That's the only thing I have to say.
Maybe it can. Maybe
Just
it's
think
worth
about
it. Maybe it's worth it. You just don't know.